So we have imported matplotlib, fine, and created the data, that is x, y. We have created the data. Okay, and now for the styling part, then we'll be moving on with real data sets. So fig, comma x, let's say dot. Okay, I'm creating both the things on a single line. Creating the object means that is the main canvas, and creating the means plot also. So x dot plot. Let's say on one we are plotting x comma x star star 2, and let's say the third argument, let it be r minus minus, fine. So this will generate me a line that will be okay, let it be dot minus, that will have a straight line. So here we are having two parts, fine. R is the color, right? Then we have the dot, then we have the minus. Okay, so here the after the color, the second thing is the dot is the marker. So this will give us a marker of dots. Okay, and after this dot, the last thing is the line style, fine. So let's first of all run it. So you can see there are dots, fine. Now there are multiple like markers available, like you can say there is a star available. Okay, you can see some stars are there. Okay, there is something like O. Oops. Fine. So O means O gives you a circular marker. Fine. So now let's take it to the next level. Okay, so here we can write it directly also, or like in HTML we need to mention like mention each property separately. We can mention each property here separately also. Like let's say x dot plot x star star 3, let's say, and now for example I will give this a color G. Okay, so now let's change the line width. So I can write line width equals, let's say 3. Let's run it. So you can see that this line has a more line width than this line, right? So let's add another property, that is alpha. So alpha stands for transparency. Okay, so let's add a alpha. Okay, the value of alpha must range between 0 to 1. Okay, so I think 0 was completely transparent. Okay, let me try it once again. 0.5 means medium transparency. So you can see it is now quite half transparent. Okay, so if I make it 0, I think it will be okay, fully invisible, fully transparent. So 0 means fully transparent, and 1 will be vice versa of it. Okay, so for the timing, let's make it 0.5. Anything between 0 to 1. Okay, keep its value between 0 to 1. Okay, next thing, line style equals, and within single quotes we need to mention that. Here we have directly mentioned that R, O and minus. Okay, but here you need to pass it something like this. For example, minus minus. Okay, so other line styles I will come a bit later. Fine, so let's see if it works or not. Yeah, so you can see the line style also changed. Fine, then comes your marker. So we haven't specified any marker over here, so let's add a marker. Marker, and for marker I will use, for example, there is one marker. Okay, so here the marker size is really small, right? So it is like not visible clearly. So let's change the marker size also. Fine, so marker size equals, let's say, oops, without any close, 20. Now see the change. Yeah, I think now the markers are more clear, but still the markers and lines both are having the same color, so we cannot like clearly means it is having some difficulty to identify the marker. So let's change the marker color as well. So marker face color equals, let's say, yellow, but I don't think this will work. Okay, because our marker doesn't have a face. Like, what is the face? Okay, so basically, just a minute. So if we have a circular marker, fine. So the portion that is marked in yellow, let's say, okay, the inner side of this circle, this is the marker face color. Okay, so since we have a marker like this, so this doesn't have a face. Fine. So only it has the marker's edge. Fine. So the marker edge in this case is the circle's edge. Fine. This is the marker edge. The inside yellow part is the marker face color. Fine. So we can customize like everything. Okay. So here the marker face color won't work because like it contains only edge. Let's change the shape. If it was 0, yes. Now we have got the marker face color. Okay. Now like let's change the edge color of this marker. So marker edge, marker EDGE color, let's make it red. Okay, now the marker's edge color has changed to red. Okay, next okay, let's change the marker's edge width. Marker edge width. Okay, let's take it to the next line. Marker edge width equals, let's say, 3. Yeah, so markers edge width also changed. Fine, so we can customize the following properties. So here we have written it just on a using R, O and minus, just these 3 things. Here we have like customized everything: the marker, the marker's edge color, marker line width, line color, everything. Fine. So in short, we can write it also like this. But here there are few properties which are set by default. So you need to use that only, or else you need to write it like this. Okay. So we have done till this part. Next, next. Okay, this was all for this part. Okay, now let's work with some data sets. Okay, so first of all, we need to read some data set. Okay, so again, code. Okay, wait. I mean, I'm sharing the code in the chat section below. It will be really means for those who are doing it right now. I'll share the code. Fine. Just 1 minute. Let's say sal.csv. Okay. for the previous days assignment, okay, on pandas, I'll share you one Google Drive link. There you have to upload the following IPYNB file. Okay, I only need the IPYNB file. Okay, fine. Just only the IPYNB file. I'll share the link after the class. Okay, so we have successfully read the data. Fine. So now let's start working on some real data set. So plt.plot, and here we need to mention first of all the variable on which the data set is stored. Okay, so previously what we have done till now, we haven't mentioned any data set name. Why? Because our data was stored in some variables. Okay, but here inside the variables, like for example, our data set is completely stored in a single variable. Okay, inside that variable there are multiple columns. So you need to specify first of all the name of the data set, because there can be multiple data sets a person can work at a time. Okay, so you need to mention the dataset name. So here dataset name is data. Okay, like I'm using the storing it in the variable data. Then the column which you want to plot. Let's say I want to plot base pay. P will be capital. Base pay, and if you want to add the color, let's say I'm adding the color, and yeah, let's run. Okay, so you can see this something looks like Harry Potter's room or so. Fine. Okay. So basically on y-axis, like it is your complete data's count. Like we have 1,48,000 data, so it is like 20,000, 40,000. It's going up to 1,48K. And on the y-axis, like whatever amount of data was present. Okay. Suppose some column have maximum value of 3 lakhs. Okay. So the values are shown over here. And on x-axis we are getting the count. So 1,48,000. So here you can see 1,48,000 data. But I think previous day I told you that one thing. If you are working with matplotlib, and it is really hard if your data set is too much large. Okay, because matplotlib can work with so much amount of data. That is one of the major drawbacks of this matplotlib. And another thing is that like you need to specify, like here you can see there is no labeling done. Okay, so the like whoever you are showing this graph cannot understand what this x-axis means, what this y-axis means. There is no label, so it is means a incomplete graph. Fine. So this is another disadvantage of matplotlib. Whereas like the next topic that we study, that is Seaborn. In Seaborn there will be just only one line of code. Okay, in just one line of code, it will just give you the means title of the graph. Then it will give you some really nice X labeling, Y labeling, and also like there are some advanced graphs. Okay, advanced means way more colorful, way more attractive. Okay, and Seaborn doesn't consist of these lines and dots. It contains like really huge amount of things. But like for if you're working in any organization or anywhere, especially in this field, okay, so there is one part that is data visualization. Okay, and for data visualization, you need to have idea of like what is matplotlib, what is Seaborn, and if possible, somewhat of you can say Tableau or okay. So just one thing. Like we'll be covering Tableau. Okay, I'll be sharing you the software. Okay, the Google Drive link. But one thing, like whatever we are doing, it comes under the category of data visualization. Okay, I mean short writing data viz, and it contains the following libraries like matplotlib, then Seaborn, then it comes Bokeh, then your comes Plotly, and okay, these are some of the like libraries. Fine. Another is ggplot. I think ggplot was in our language. Anyways, these were the like libraries. Okay, but in most of the organization, like if there is some vacancy, mainly they will ask you for these two things. Okay, on very few places you can get to see like they require someone who has skills in these libraries. Okay, so these two are the main things. Along with this, like a data scientist must have like any data visualization software. Okay, software like, let's say there are three things software. Okay, first one is the Tableau. So either you must know Tableau, or you must have the idea of Google Data Studio. Okay, or another is from Microsoft, that is Microsoft Power BI. Okay, so these are the three like softwares. Not this one is not a software actually. It's okay. Let me show you. So don't worry about that. We'll be coming to these topics. Anyways, these two are paid software. This Tableau is a paid one, and this Microsoft Power BI is also a paid one. Okay, I haven't used this Data Studio much. Okay, I have worked with Tableau only. So anyways, we'll be watching the Tableau part. Fine, and it will be really interesting. But first of all, we need to cover this Matplotlib and Seaborn. Okay, because Python is said to be one of the languages of the lazy person. Fine, and Tableau is for more lazy persons. Why? Whenever we'll shift to Tableau, you will get the idea. Okay, so let's plot another column. Let's say plt dot plot data, and within this, let's say total pay if you want to plot. So you can plot data of any column like this. Okay, so here since we are passing only one column, so it was on one axis, it was taking by default the count, okay, number of values, and on another axis it was taking the values. Okay, so now let's specify two values, one for x, one for y, means two columns, one for x, one for y. How will we do that? Let's say plt dot plot and data. For example, on one axis we will plot base pay and comma data. On another axis, let's plot total pay. Fine, and if possible, let's give a color equals orange. Okay, now here comes the main problematic part, that is it possible to interpret this data? Like इसको देख के कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, like इतना means there are so many lines that it is impossible that anyone could understand this kind of graph. Okay, at least not humans. Okay, moreover there is another disadvantage, like the points are also not shown. कि points कहाँ पे है, इसको देख के like we cannot understand this kind of graph. Okay, so it would have been better like if we could get lines with some dots as markers and all. Fine. Yes, we can use those marker styles and all, but still, like, okay, just a minute. Still, it won't be. Yeah. So, there are so many dots, like most of them are hidden in this major area. Fine. So, it is like impossible to work with Matplotlib. Anyways, for the timing, because we are learning, we'll shrink the data set. Okay, we won't be working with 1,50,000 data. We'll be working with a small range of data. So let's say data equals data dot head, and I will specify the value 50. Fine. So what I have done is stored the value of data dot head top 50 values again on the variable data. So now our data set has like string. Okay, so we'll be working with only the top 50 data. Now just let's copy it and run it. Okay, now still it is much understandable format, right? So it is now still better. It looks better. Okay, but still. So basically plt.plot gives us a line graph. Fine. Next, just a minute. There is another one, plt.scatter, which will give us a okay, which will give us a graph only consisting of dots. plt.scatter gives us a graph consisting only of dots. Fine. So plt.plot gives us a line graph. plt.scatter gives us a graph of dots, nothing else. But here we are having condition like which dot is after which part. We are getting just confused. So let's say it would have been better like if these dots was over this line graph, right? It would look much cooler, right? Okay, let's do that. You will have to understand what I mean to say. Dot scatter and data dot database way data total pay and plt dot plot and here data base pay data and here we have total pay and let's add the color also art. So here now I think this graph looks much better than the above two what we have got. Fine. It contains lines and dots and like every variable we have like the values or the information. So this graph is much like easy to interpret. Fine. So it would have been better if there was a legend. So let's add another legend also. plt dot legend and inside legend let's say LOC equals, okay, let's have an LOC. A 0 will be better. Okay, so I got a warning and nothing was given. Why? Did I miss anything? Legend, why is the legend not showing? Yeah, great. Others? Why is the legend not showing? We have worked with the legend previous day. What we need to specify for the legend? We are missing something, right? Because legend is not working. Why? What are we missing? Label, fine. Okay, so we have missed the labels. You can see it from here that no handles with labels found to put in the legend. So we have missed the legend. No, LOC has been mentioned so weak. So only the labels were missed. So whatever you need to like show the text on this legend part, you need to specify on the label. Let's say this was dots, right? And this line was about let's say line. So yeah, you can get, but you need to specify, right? So whatever you need to specify inside this legend, you need to write it inside the labels first. Fine, it can be text, it can be anything. Just you need to write it inside the label. Otherwise, it won't work. Then you can change the location as you want, or if you don't even specify the location, it will by default take one location by default. So this location is set by default. If you need to change, just specify any value between 0 to 10. So LOC equals, let's say 5. Fine. Okay, so we have worked with labels. Let's say, okay, I don't think we need to work here on with the labeling part once again. Okay, so let's now work with some another problem statement, another problem. So okay, let me just draw this one first. Just a minute, it will take me a few seconds to write. Oops. Base pay and data, it was, let's say, total pay. And just 1 minute. Okay, let me just change both of them. Okay, so we have got two graphs, right, side by side. So previously I have mentioned you the concept of subplot. Fine. So is there something that is looking odd? Is something looking really odd, or something like looking bad or so? Respond, guys. X axis in first one, axis data. Fine. Others, like what is looking wrong in this graph? There is some problem, right? So if you just show this graph to your boss, like we don't know what will happen next. Like he will suspend you or whatever. So you cannot show this graph. Yeah, measurements are overlap, right? So the axis measurements are really looking bad. So this is one of the problem thing which you might face while working with subplots. So we need to fix this kind of thing. Just one line of code. We will just write one line of code to fix this out. So plt dot tight underscore layout, and let's run it. Now it's looking quite better, right? Previously, like it was so much overlapping we couldn't understand, and now it is like much more clear. Fine. So again, yeah, now the boss will not scold. Okay. So I think the concept of rows and columns were clear the previous day. right? Okay, so let's take it to the next level. Those who are having their laptops open right now, okay, I'm just giving you this part of the code in the chat, and now I will give you a simple task. A simple task, just it will take 5 minutes. Okay, what I need to do, I need to create something like this. I need 4 graphs side by side. Okay, so in this format, I need graphs in this format. Like we have been doing this side by side, or let's say one below another. Fine, something like, just a minute. Let me copy this one out. We have done it row wise, we have done it column wise, right? But now I need something like this. So take any 4 columns. Okay, I don't bother about whatever data you pick, but I need graphs in this format. Fine. So there will be graph number 1, graph number 2, graph number 3, and graph number 4. So I need 4 graphs in this format. The format is clear. So I have given you the code. Oops, I have sent it personally. Yeah. So I have given you the code. Just modify it so that I can get 4 graphs, and on all the 4 graphs, I need some output. Okay. Take any column you want. You have the salaries data set. Just any column you want, and send me the code in the chat section below. You have just 5 minutes. Take time till 4 p.m. Then, like, I'm expecting some replies, at least from few people. Then we will solve this. Yeah, so we were coming to the background part. Fine. So there are 2 kind of things, 2 kind of backgrounds we will cover. Just a minute. Fine. So the first will be this background. Okay, this background. So you can add this background by just mentioning 1 line of code. So just copy any piece of code you have written of subplot and just write fig dot patch dot set underscore face color. Face color. For example, I am adding cyan color. Fine. So as I told you, this will only cover the background. Okay, but not background of these subplots, but of the main canvas. Okay. So this was one thing, and if you want to like color this, the background of these 4 graphs, you can do it by just mentioning 1 line where you have created the subplots After that, face color equals, let's say I am adding one as pink, face color one as orange. Okay, I am only coloring two. Rest you can color on your own. Fine. So in this way you can like color your graphs, you can color the background, you can color everything. Fine. So we have saw how we can customize these dots, lines and everything using Matplotlib. Fine. So this was one thing. Next, let's move on to the project. Fine. This was only there for which classes. Yeah, just a minute. Fine. So let's now work on, as said, with the live graph. Okay, so this will be a project using Matplotlib, a really short and interesting project. Just it will be better to open up a new notebook. Fine. Let's rename it. Live graph. Okay, so here we'll be using quite a few libraries. First of all, I need two things. Importing Matplotlib, done. Import pandas as PD, as told you to import like whatever we have learned till now. Okay, whenever you open a notebook, and import numpy as np. Fine. These three things done. Next, we'll be using two more libraries. First one is import time. Okay, and on another thing, import psutil. Okay, so you don't need to install psutil. It is by default installed in Anaconda, I think. Okay, so what is psutil? Psutil is a third-party library which will give you your CPU information. Okay, so like here on we will be creating a graph that will okay, we'll be creating those CPU percentage graph. Okay, so something I showed you the graph. We'll be creating this graph, this CPU one. Fine. So to get the data, okay, so we are using psutil to fetch the data. Okay, so first of all, let's like check the data. psutil dot CPU underscore percent. So it gives you your current CPU usage. You can run it as many times. Okay, it will give you different kind of data because your CPU usage never remains the same. Okay, and it changes every second. Fine. So we have got the real-time data. What we need to do is just store this psutil data on a list. Okay, we need to append the data on a list. Okay, and on another axis, we'll be plotting it against time. Fine. So we need to store both the information on a list form. Fine, not store, like append it. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, another thing, this live graph cannot be plotted on a normal canvas, right? Like previously, whatever canvas we have created, this kind of canvas, this has a limited size. Okay, and this can hold limited data. Like for example, your graph paper, it can also hold a limited amount of data. Okay, now if you have like huge amount of data, those kind of canvas cannot handle it. So we need to create another special canvas, a set of canvas which can handle or which can like work with some real-time data. We need a special canvas, and we need to configure it also so that it can support live data, live graph. Okay, so for that, percent matplotlib notebook and plt.rc params, let's say animation.html, and here equals within single quotes JS.html. Okay, so what we are doing is we are configuring the notebook actually. So that it supports live data. CPU percent means your current CPU utilization. Suppose like how much your how much stress your CPU is in. Like you can say you have a processor of 2 gigahertz, 2.4 gigahertz, right? And based on the task you perform, some part of your CPU gets used. Okay, so like whatever task I am performing right now, like my browser is open and it is consuming like 50% of my CPU. Okay, so you can see this graph going on and going on. Okay, so whatever activity you do, like it takes place on your CPU, right? Because CPU is responsible for doing every activity on your laptop or machine. Okay, without this CPU we cannot work. So CPU কতটা ইউটিলাইজ হচ্ছে, ঠিক আছে? সোজা ভাষায় এটাই যে CPU কতটা ইউটিলাইজ হচ্ছে। লাইক যখন গেম খেলো দেখবে CPU অনেক হিট হয়ে যাচ্ছে বা ফ্যান স্পিডে ঘুরছে। কেন হয়? লাইক বিকজ CPU টা অনেক বেশি পরিমাণে ইউজ হয়, ঠিক আছে? তো ইভেন ল্যাপটপেও যখন দেখবে গেম খেলছো, লাইক ল্যাপটপের ফ্যানের স্পিড বেড়ে যাচ্ছে, ঠিক আছে? এরকম জিনিসগুলো নোটিস করবে। Not only that, even like whenever we'll be working on this live graph, you can see that your laptop's fan speed might get increased if you are having a like old laptop. Okay, because it consumes some greater part of your CPU. Okay, so next, let's now see our canvas. Create your figure and finally fig.show. Okay, fig.show to see our graph. So you can see we have got a canvas, okay, or a graph, and this graph is now different from the graph we have got before. Like what is the difference? Those who are like doing it right now along with me, what is the difference on this canvas and the previous canvas we have used? We are getting some buttons over here, right? So there is a button, and here also we have got quite a few buttons. Okay, like you can see here also it is written like what these buttons do. This will download the plot, this will zoom it to rectangle, pan access with left mouse, forward to next view, back to previous view, and reset to original view. Here are a few buttons, and here is the power button, right? We didn't get this kind of things on the previous matplotlib graphs. So how did we get this kind of things? We have configured it, right? These two lines are making all the changes on the graph. Fine. Subplot. Why is it giving me an attributable? Oops, sorry. Yeah, now I got it completely. Fine, so we have got our canvas, and here also you can see like you move your mouse, you get the like where your mouse is, you get the location, right? Means the coordinates, x and y coordinates. We have got everything. Next thing what we need to do is plot our data. Okay, just a minute. Okay, fine. Next thing, for real-time data, let's say we are initializing the value of I to 0. Okay, I will be the value for time, and here we need to create two lists, two empty lists actually, because we don't have data currently. So these are two empty lists. Fine. Now while true, so we have given a condition that will be true. Okay, so until it is true, it will go on and on. So on X we are appending the value of I, right? And on Y we are appending the value of psutil dot cpu u underscore percent. Fine, we have got these two. Next we need to plot ax dot plot x comma y. Plot x dot plot x comma y. Next there is a draw method, canvas dot draw. And why draw? Because like we are not, plot means like only one single time we are doing it, but draw means we are continuously, like whatever data gets appended, it will keep on drawing it. Okay, so this will support the live graph plotting. And finally we are giving it a like time delay, time dot sleep, let's say 0.1 second, and let i's value increase by plus equals 1. Okay, so for increasing the counter value, okay, so i's value will increase every 0.1 second. Fine, so this was the code. Fine, now let's run it. Okay, you can notice that there is a star. Okay, you won't be getting any number over here right now, and you are not getting any output also. Okay, but actually the output is coming where? Above you. Fine, so you can see a live graph is being plotted. This time the output is coming above you, not below you. Okay, every time whatever code you run, you can see the output below you, but this time the output is coming above you. Okay, fine. Now we'll be starting up with the Seaborn. Fine. So we'll be using first of all some inbuilt data set because for Seaborn purposes, okay, on the Seaborn library actually, they have provided us with some built-in data set that is just for practice purpose only. Okay, and this data set might not be available in many machines or many versions of Anaconda. Okay, so just do one thing, import Seaborn first. Import Seaborn as SNS. Fine. This is the first thing you need to do, and if the data sets are available in your machine or not, just write tips equal to SNS dot load underscore data set, and within brackets and single quotes just write tips. Just write these two lines to check whether the built-in data set is available or not. So if you are getting any error, that means this dataset is not available in your machine. Okay, no need to worry. These were provided just for practice purpose. In case of this dataset, you can take any dataset you have. Okay, but currently I'm not taking any dataset. We'll be working with some dataset a little bit later. Why? Because actually on datasets actually, like for example salaries, there are a lot of missing values. So many of the graphs won't be plotted over there. Okay, many things are there which cannot be plotted using those data sets. So that is why, first of all, I'm taking this tips data set, then we'll be moving on towards the other data sets. Okay, so first of all, what is this data set all about? Like, we are generally the students group, so we guys visit restaurant, fine. So after college, many students just visit restaurant. And so after visiting, there is some amount. Okay, so whatever you eat, there will be some amount. So that is displayed on the total bill. Okay, so these are, I think, in dollars, because in India, you can't have a bill of rupees 16, rupees 10, rupees 21. So this is not possible in India. Right, so this is in some foreign countries. Like $16 का बिल हुआ, $10 का बिल हुआ, बाप रे वो लोग काफी अमीर है. Okay, anyways, then after that, how much tip they gave, fine. And was the group of males or females, was there any smoker or not? Okay, so on which day of the week they have visited, and whether they visited for dinner or for like lunch. And the last thing, like what was the size of the group? Like there were 2 people, 3 people, like was there only couples or like couples के साथ couples का एक कोई best friend भी गया था. ठीक है, ये सब भी आपको information given है. So anyways, so let's now start plotting using this tips dataset. So the first plot that we will plot is this plot. So here we need to plot using SNS dot this plot. Okay, so first the name of the library, then the name of the plot. Okay, so this plot name changes. There are huge types of plot available in Seaborn. Fine, so this plot, inside this you need to mention the name of the dataset first, on which variable it is stored. So tips, then the column name which you want to plot. Let's say I want to plot total bill. Total underscore bill. Fine. So let's see the graph first. Okay, so still it looks a bit weird. First thing, it was a distribution plot. Okay. The next thing, that there is a line coming in between this graph. Okay, what is this line's meaning? We will come to it a little bit later. And third thing, like on graph paper, like we have those square boxes, right? Here it is a plain white background. So to add those boxes or grid, you need to do one thing. Like whenever you are importing Seaborn, just write SNS dot set underscore style, then within single quotes white grid, or you can also write anyone, just anyone, or this one, just change the white to dark. So I'm for the timing I'm using white grid only. So what is this grid? Just let me run this part again. Fine. So you can see now it has grid distance, and now it is much better. Fine. So the next thing, like how to interpret with the data, you can see that maximum bills were in the range of 10 to 20, and as the billing amount increases, the number of like count decreases. Okay, so very few bills were in the range of 0 to 10, then 10 to 20 as the maximum. Then as the amount increases, the count decreases. Okay, so next thing, suppose you want more higher accuracy. So what you can do, bins equal to, let's say, a random value 30. So what just happened, the histogram became more accurate. Okay, so as you increase the value of bins, the histogram will become more accurate. Let's say I make it 50. Fine. So like the number you increase, like for the bigger the data set, just increase the value of bins and the more accuracy you will get. Okay. And the third thing, that is this line that is coming over here. This line is called KDE. Okay. So it is by default true, set it to false. Fine. So KDE stands for kernel density estimation. So a graph based on density. Fine. So it is a type of graph also. We will come into this a little bit later. We have removed the line of KD. Fine. Bins for accuracy and setting KD equal to false removes that line. Okay. Next. SNS dot, let's say, this plot is done. Next, coming to joint plot. Okay, so first of all, joint plot is a combination of two distribution plot on two axes. Like for x-axis, one distribution plot; for y-axis, one distribution plot. So we will be having two distribution plots, one for total bill, one for tip. Fine. Then we need to specify the name of the data set. Here in this case, we have the data set stored in the variable tips, so we are passing tips. And finally, joint plot has 5 different styles available. So writing it as kind equals scatter. So here you can see we have got two distribution plots on two axes, and in between we have got a like plot of only scatter. And here also you can see one thing, like by default the labelings are done. So you have got the X label which denotes total bill, Y label which denotes tips. So these things are already mentioned. Fine. So other types of graph which are available, let's say just you need to change the type. Okay, KD is there, hex is there, reg is there, and another is recid is there. Okay, so just we need to change this line with the following graph. So KD, as I said, just stands for a graph based on density. Just see this graph. Yeah, so here the density is maximum, so the values of tips and total bill are maximum. So as the value increases, the density decreases. Fine. So this KD stands for kernel density estimation. Next we have hex. So this will give you a graph of hexagon. Tips is a data set. Okay, and in this case what we have done, stored the data set in the variable tips. Okay, here what we are doing, we are reading the data set using Seaborn. Okay, not using pandas. We can read also using pandas, but I am using a data set which is already given in this Seaborn library. Okay, I am not, I don't have to import any other data set. Like I don't even have the data set tips in my local machine. Okay, which code? Okay, let's start again. Okay, I'm providing every code. Don't need to worry. I think giving this code only will work. Okay, so we have done hex. Let's now do resid. Resid stands for residual graph. And last but not the least, okay, so it is a residual graph, and last one is a reg. Reg stands for regression graph. So what you need to do is just change the type of it, means kind of the graph. There are 5 kinds available: scattered, KD, hex, reg, and resid. Fine. Okay. Next, suppose someone asked you to compare all the columns that are available in a particular data set. Okay, to compare all the given columns that are possible. So here what we are doing, we are comparing tips with total loop. Fine. But suppose our data set contains 50 columns, and your boss has said to compare those 50 columns with all the columns available. Okay, so now you cannot just plot 50 into 50, it will give you like 2500 combinations. Okay, so you cannot sit and plot 2500 graphs. What you will do, there is one best thing that you can do is pair plot. So there is one thing, pair plot. And pair plot only takes in the name of the data set, that is tips. Fine, and how many numerical columns are there, it will just give you their comparison with each and every other column. Okay, so C1 graph takes a little bit time based on your system specification. So here you can notice one thing, diagonally we are getting a different graph, a different trend of graph. On other of the graphs, we have like scattered graph. Okay, so why is this happening? Just zoom in your screen and see why is diagonally we are getting the histogram. Okay, why not scattered? Like what is difference in this diagonal pattern? Just take 2 minutes to note. Yeah, fine, Sushil. Others? Like diagonally, why histogram? Means, is there anything like, is there any logic behind this? X by Y symmetry. Fine on Lila. Others? Okay, so basically here what is happening? See on this first graph, we are comparing total bill with total bill. Okay, so when we are comparing the same columns, we are getting a graph which has a different like style. So here this graph is denoted by your histogram. Okay, so when we are comparing tip with tip, we are getting a histogram. When we are comparing this size with size, we are getting a histogram. So here you can notice one thing, we have got only 3 into 3 9 graphs. Why this? Why only 9 graphs? We have multiple columns. So just 1 minute. Tips.info. Here we have 7 columns, but we have only got 3 into 3 9 graphs. Means only 3 columns were taken. Why? Why not the other columns were plotted? Because pair plot plots your only numerical data, because we cannot plot any string value. Fine. So how many columns were there of string or means integer or float? 3, as we can see here. So 2 are of float, 1 is of int. So comparison of these 3 columns are given. So 3 into 3, 9 grams. Fine. So if we had 4 numerical columns, we have got 4 into 4, 16 grams. Like this. Fine. So here you can see we can compare like total bill with tips graph is given here, total bill with size graph is given here. So only the integer or float type columns are taken into consideration. Okay. So now next thing, suppose okay, by seeing this graph we cannot like distinguish like how many were males, how many were for females. Okay, so we need to distinguish between males and females, or let's say smoker and non-smoker. So we can do that. SS.pair plot, let's say tips. Okay, so here I have mentioned something hue. So what hue does is hue compares the categorical data. Okay, now what is categorical data? Like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or one like 0, 1, true, false, male, female, yes, no. These kind of data fall under the categorical part. Okay, and other data like which are continuous. Continuous means like which goes on and on. Okay, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 up to 100. This kind of data can be said as continuous. Okay, so here you can see like blue color denotes male, orange denotes female. So this by watching this graph, the user will have a idea that there were more male customers than female customers, right? So every graph we have got oh sorry, there were more female customers. So like girls really like to go out to the restaurants. Anyways, like it has been long since anyone went to restaurant, I think, over here. Thanks to Corona, we are sitting at home. Okay. And even in some homes, I think, like, or those who stay far away, even there is no Zomato service also. So really it is a bad luck. Missing the like restaurant food, right? Okay, how many students are missing those restaurant food? Okay, next thing that we will add is like here we can mention some color codes. Okay, so basically in Matplotlib we mentioned it using color, COLOR. But using COLOR you can just mention one color. And here you can see there are multiple colors. Okay, so color won't work over here. We need to mention a palette. Okay, so a palette may contain several different colors. Okay, a set of colors. So let's say palette equals full one is there. Well, okay, not much difference is coming, just it got lighter, nothing else. Let's try a different palette. Okay, so palette is basically a set of colors. Okay, nothing else. So now let's compare the data on the basis of, let's say, day. Okay, so on which day we had the maximum customers and all. So plotting the pair plot with changing the hue, changing it to day. Come on. Yeah, so okay, on the right side you can see which color denotes which day of the week. and I think Sunday had the maximum number of customers. Okay, because Sunday is having the maximum value everywhere. Fine. So this was one thing. Okay, so the other palettes which are available means as much as I know, I am listing it over here. So we have capital SET, set 1, set 2, set 3, pool 1, then rainbow, then I think hot is there. Okay, other is not coming to my mind, but there are a few different palettes available. Okay, so we have done till pair plot. Okay, next for working with categorical data, we have a few types of plot. Okay. So working with categorical data. First one is okay, a bar plot, let's say. So SNS.bar plot, here we will mention x equals, for example, day, and y equals, let's say, total bill. So here one of the things must be a categorical data like male, female, smoker, yes, no, true, false, like this kind of data. So we will be mentioning the day. Okay, so day was something categorical and total bill was something continuous. And finally, data equals tips. Just one thing. Okay, one thing that you can do, that go through the documentation of each type of graph, right? Like how can you access the documentation part? Just write the code. Suppose you don't know what things to mention inside this bar plot. Okay, so you just remember the type of graph. So just take your cursor inside this pair of brackets and just press shift and tab. So this will give you one box like this. Just click on the plus button, expand it, and it gives you a signature. So here by default you need to mention these two kind of things. Okay, but other things you can mention inside this bar plot is hue, then data. Inside data you need to pass the name of the data set. Okay, then ordered. Okay, and suppose you have forgot like what the other things does. So just slide a bit. Here you can get a brief description about bar plot, like what is bar plot and how it works. Okay. Then yeah, about the parameters. So what are the parameters that you can mention? Okay, so what order does, what hue order does. So each and everything you can get up in the documentation part. Fine. So this is one thing. Then so just play on with the parameters part. Okay. So I will just tell you like what are the parts or what are the different kind of graphs available. But today I think I won't be able to continue much longer because I am also not feeling well. Okay, so